Okay, so this is question number 5 in Tech Free, Chapter 5 review. Find the coordinates of the nearest point to this point that's on this line. Okay, so we have this line. This is line R. And line R is I plus 2j plus t times I minus j plus 2k. So to unpack that a little bit, when t is 0, then there is a point on this line which is I plus 2j, or 1, 2, 0. There are other points on this line. For example, when t equals 1, that it's I plus I, so that's 2 in the I, minus 1 plus 2, plus 1 in the j, and 1 is 2 in the k. There's another point, for instance, when t equals 4, or 4i plus 1, so it's 5 in the I, minus 4j plus 2 is minus 2 in the j, and 8 in the k, is also on this line. So the equation covers all points on the line for different proportions of this. Now this bit here, the D bit, is the direction of the line, and it's I minus j plus 2k. Okay, so if I've got this point here, which is 2, 1 and 3. 2, 1 and 3 are at different distances away from this line, but the nearest point to the line will be this point here, point P. Let's call that point Q, and let's call this point P. Point Q is determined by this equation. So this will tell me the coordinates of Q. And if I was to rewrite this in R equals, in the I plus in the J plus in the K, it's going to be 1 plus T. It's going to be 2 minus T. It's going to be 0 plus 2T. And this describes all the coordinates Q. So I could call that OQ. From position O to position Q is this rule, and it's dependent upon T. When T is 0, point Q is here. When T is 1, point Q is here. When T is 4, point Q is here. When T is unknown, then point Q is determined by this rule. Okay, so that's the rule for O to Q. If I want P to Q, then I want P to 0 plus 0 to Q. P to 0 will be minus 2 plus 1 plus T in the I, plus minus 1 plus 2 minus T in the J, plus minus 3 plus 2T in the K. So P to Q is going to equal minus 1 plus T in the I, plus 1 minus T in the J, plus minus 3 plus 2T in the K. So that's a vector that describes the line from P to Q, and I went from P to 0 and then 0 to Q, finding the vector P to Q. Now, this vector is going to be at right angles when this vector P to Q and the vector that describes the direction of the line, which is this one, is at right angles to each other. So I would like to do, I've forgotten it already, 1, negative 1, 2. So I minus j plus 2k dot PQ has to equal 0. I want the dot product between these two vectors to equal 0 so that, they'll be at right angles, so therefore will be the shortest point. Okay, so that's going to be 1 times this. minus 1 plus t minus this 1 minus t plus 2 lots of this one minus 3 plus 2t has to equal 0. So minus 1 plus t minus 1 plus t plus negative 6 plus 4t equals 0. Minus 1 minus 2 minus 8 plus 1, 2, 6. T will equal 4/3. Since t equals 4/3, now